Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jerry, and welcome to Bread and Breath Devotional, a daily moment to slow down, breathe, and hear what God might be saying today. So let's feed our spirit before the world feeds us the stress. Today's daily bread is coming from the book of Exodus. Exodus 20, the heart behind the commandments. The heart behind the commandments. Exodus 20. God speaks directly to his people before he gives a single command. He reminds them of grace. He said, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. That is important. God didn't begin with rules. He began with relationship. He reminded them. He reminded them and said, I rescued you first. Obedience is not the price of salvation. It is the response to salvation. When God says, you shall have no other gods before me, he is not being insecure. He is protecting our hearts. Anything we place above him, money, relationships, success, image, pleasure, will eventually enslave us. The Israelites knew what slavery felt like. God was saying, do not trade physical chains for spiritual ones. He continues by saying, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. This is deeper than avoiding profanity. It means we don't carry his name lightly. As believers, we represent him. Our words, our posts, our private thoughts, they reflect the God we claim to serve. His name is holy, and we are called to honor it in speech and in lifestyle. God also said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. In a culture obsessed with hustle and production, Sabbath reminds us that we are not machines. Rest is an act of trust. When we stop working, we declare, God sustains me, not my effort alone. Sabbath is not about just having a day off. It is about recalibrating our hearts towards worship and dependence. Then God shifts to how we treat others. Honor your father and your mother. Honor does not mean pretending everything was perfect. It means choosing respect, gratitude, and integrity. It acknowledges that God uses imperfect people to shape us. Honoring authority trains our heart in humility. God also said, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not covet. Notice how these commands move from outward actions into inward attitudes. Murder begins with anger. Adultery begins with lust. Stealing begins with entitlement. False witness begins with deception. Coveting begins with dissatisfaction. God is not only concerned with behavior, he is after the heart. Coveting, especially, reveals something powerful. Coveting is saying, what God gives me is not enough. Comparison becomes the seedbed of discontentment. But gratitude kills coveting. When we thank God for what we have, envy loses its grip. The 10 Commandments are not random restrictions. They are a blueprint for freedom. When we love God fully and love others rightly, life flourishes. The law exposes our weaknesses. Yes, it does. The 10 Commandments does expose our weaknesses. But it also points to our need for grace. We cannot keep these perfectly on our own. That is why we lean on God daily. Today, instead of reading these commands as heavy burdens, see them as loving guardrails. A guardrail does not limit freedom, it preserves life. So ask yourself, is there anything competing with God for first place in my heart? Am I honoring his name in how I live? Am I trusting him enough to rest? Is there resentment, lust, dishonesty, or comparison growing quietly inside my heart? Let the Holy Spirit search you gently, not to condemn you, but to realign you. God rescued Israel before giving the law, and he rescues us still. Our obedience flows from gratitude, not fear. So may we love him with undivided hearts and reflect his character in every relationship. If this blessed you, please like, share, and subscribe, and share this with one person who needs peace today. Go in peace and be blessed.